Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Inactive Listening. This is episode 7 of our podcast.
That's right.
I'm Walter.
I'm Logan.
And
we're gonna pick up where we left off.
What you're about to hear is a continuation of last episode, so we hope you enjoy.
Do you want to open letters?
Sure. I think we need... If we're going to do it right, we need a whole... We need the context.
Okay. I guess I'll start.
Okay.
Because mine is a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, obviously, but in 8th grade, which was 4 years ago now, I was tasked with writing myself a future letter to myself. And that I would open, I guess, as a senior.
When you graduate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I wrote myself a letter, which was interesting. It's a good idea. And then we got it at one of the last days of school. Peter did not get one. Seth also did not get one, so I don't know. They were also probably in a different section because we were kind of sectioned in middle school. Walter got one, and he doesn't know where it's at, but he also made one in freshman year. So his is the same age as mine, since he is 1 year older, but...
Yeah.
Have you read it since? Did you read it last year?
Yeah.
Is it so fresh in your mind?
Or
will it be, shocking? I guess I read mine.
Mm-hmm.
I did read mine, so...
Yeah. I don't have my letter... Hold up. I might know actually where it's at.
Really?
It would take 10 minutes to check. Do you want to pause it and see if I can find it?
Yeah.
I just had a brain blast where it might be.
Okay. Walter is upstairs looking for his letter. He said it would take 10 minutes. He thinks he knows where it's at. So, I'm here, waiting now. We might leave this in, or we might cut this. Walter spends a lot of time editing, and he enjoys it, so it's cool. He does spend a lot of time editing stuff out, cutting out parts. There is probably a part that I think we are going to cut, where he, I don't know, just computer stuff popped up or something. Chimes were making themselves present on his computer, so then we kind of paused for just a second. We might cut that out, we might not, I don't know. So if this makes it in the final cut, yeah, you're getting a little bit of a fourth wall. But yeah, we've been recording for about 31 minutes. I don't know if that will remain the same. I assume not in the final. But, yeah, we spent a lot of time. We've got, a good setup going for recording. Honestly, I came over today, talked to him a little bit, and then we headed downstairs, talked for a couple minutes, and we pressed record. So, a lot of our, at least late things have been... not even really, we have somewhat of an idea what we're going to talk about. We talk about recent things. And then sometimes we have stuff planned. Like this letter we've had planned for a little while, but yeah. It is just kind of like a random talking back and forth. I enjoy it. I think it's really fun. I think Walter enjoys it as well. But I'm just going to stop talking now. So if you are listening still, please continue on in the episode, because it should be good here in just a minute. And I want him to not have to edit more than he has to, so.
Dang it, bro.
No?
No.
I talked a little bit.
Okay.
So you can decide if we leave it in or not.
What?
So you can decide if we leave it in or not. A little bit of breaking the fourth wall. What's up for you?
I didn't find it.
Nope, he did not. Alright. I'm going to start with my letter. Mine was from 8th grade. I'm going to read it. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Then Walter will do his, unless you want to go first.
By all means.
All right. Bit of ASMR. All right, here we go. This is Tuesday. Sorry, Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. Dear future Logan, it's been a while since we last talked. About 4 years, I think. It's currently 8:43 on this Tuesday evening. I just got back from practice. It was a social distancing practice for the Lions. I hope you are or were on the high school soccer team. I hope it was varsity. I know we both want to be on the varsity team. Well, my grades are looking pretty good. How about yours? I have 5 A's and 2 B's as of right now. I got an 86.66% on the math test today. It was the one about quadratic functions. Yeah, you remember that one. Anyway, how are your buddies? As of now, my main friends are... Close your ears, Walter.
No!
This is 8th grade. As of now, my main friends are Gabe, Peyton, Nathaniel, and Peter. Of course, as well as Austin, Isaac, Caden, Seth, Peyton, and Josh. I guess I felt I had to, like, in case they ever heard this, I need to, like, add
Right.
everyone
You had to
in.
prove that you did, in fact, have friends.
Yes. They're good buddies. I'm interested in GTA 5 right now, but also Fallout 76 off and on. Of course, every summer so far I get the feeling to play Breath of the Wild. I'm sure you'll always have that feeling, which is true. My favorite color is blue, and we are currently working on the kitchen at Dad's house. There is always work to be done. I'm sure you know my favorite bands by now. System of a Down, Johnny Cash, Tenacious D, all the works. I'm real interested in heavy metal and some bluegrass. I'm saving up for Uncle Jake's blue truck. I'm sure you are driving it right now. Let me know how it is. I'm sure you remember, but we're in a bit of a crisis right now. COVID-19. Yeah, buddy. While you sit in your nice, comfy house all nice and safe, I'm out here on the front lines. I have to fight people off left and right. Toilet paper, food, rations, clothing. It's a war zone out here. Right now, Dad's letting me ride the moped. That red one? Yeah, it's pretty cool. That cheap Chinese carburetor is not letting it work at full throttle, but once it gets warmed up through the day, it runs just fine. Still mowing lawns. Saturday we worked real hard in the 90-degree weather. I'm sure you remember. I don't at all. Think. Pulling those concrete stumps with the black truck. Yeah, it was hot. I actually do remember that day. I do.
Okay.
I do remember. Well, I hope you are doing just fine. I know. Your name sucks. I hate it too.
What?
Which is true.
What?
I've always not. I don't know. I don't care for my name. Anyway. We'll make it through just fine. Watch out for crazy people. As time goes on, the world is getting really messed up. Just trust God. With all your heart. I'm sure you've figured out life by now. It's still pretty confusing to me. Just work and call it a day. That's all life is. Anyway, I'm sure you're busy, so I won't keep you. If you are ever in the neighborhood, give me a call. You should know the number. Boom. Sincerely, past Logan.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
First off, do you remember that math test?
I do not at all.
Dang.
I do. Soccer team, I don't know what exact practice, obviously, but I do remember playing club for the Lions, and that was 4 years ago,
Yeah.
because I do remember that pretty vividly. I have 5 A's and 2 B's as of right now in high school. I think I ended off with, I think I just had a B, like a B minus in calculus, and I think everything else was an A.
Huh.
Yeah. Main friends, Nathaniel, Peyton, Gabe. I don't talk to as much. I still do talk to Peter a lot. I've become closer with Seth. I think right now my main friends are really Walter, Seth, and Peter is the ones I talk to constantly.
Yeah.
A lot of swim team.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with a lot of people, obviously. I just don't. I don't talk to them as much anymore. GTA 5. I haven't played GTA 5 in a while. I do play it occasionally.
It's almost time for GTA 6.
I know. It is. You're right. Fallout 76. I haven't played in probably a year. I was really into it at one time.
Yeah.
I played it a lot in middle school, a lot in the beginning of high school. I took a big break. I came back. I was bored of the game, so then I joined like trading communities, and that's all the game was to me, was like grinding the game to get items to trade for rare items, because I had value in the items that were legacies. They were removed.
Yeah.
So then I started a huge collection. Actually had a lot of stuff that had been removed. A lot of like one-of-the-kind pieces. A lot of stuff I could have sold off.
Yeah.
And then they removed all of it.
Wow.
So I quit playing.
Wow.
But,
I love Bethesda.
Yeah. Fallout 4 is still good, but I don't like Fallout 76 that much anymore. Even though I have like 700 hours or something in it.
Wow.
Or, I don't know, something like that. I do get the feeling to play Breath of the Wild every once in a while. Just about every summer, because it was around the summertime that I started playing it for the first time. And I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then I saved up money that summer, and then I paid for my Switch. And I got the other half of it for my birthday. Which is in the fall. And then I played Breath of the Wild like religiously. Great game. I don't know why I said my favorite color is blue. I don't know. Maybe I thought it was
because you gotta make sure you know that. That's important.
Yeah, I still like blue, but I like black. I like purple. I like pink at times.
Yeah.
I like a lot of colors. I don't care for yellow and orange. Never enjoyed them. In red, I don't care for that much either. But anyway, we're currently working on the kitchen at Dad's house. The kitchen has been done for a while. And then I think we started doing other stuff, and then we stopped. There's always work to be done. That's very true, especially at Dad's house. Favorite bands. System of a Down is good. They're probably my top 5. I don't listen to them a lot anymore. I listen to a lot of Johnny Cash, but not a lot. Like, not all the time. Tenacious D, not one of my favorites. I do like them a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to them like...
They're hilarious.
Weekly. Yeah.
And they're kind of like Weird Al, where not only are they hilarious, but they make good songs.
They actually do make good songs.
Really good songs.
Yeah. I am real interested in heavy metal. I probably always will be. I like bluegrass, especially old bluegrass, like 40s and 50s and 60s bluegrass. I like a lot.
Yeah.
Because we have a property in southern Illinois that we go to every once in a while, and I enjoy it down there. And that's what the music makes me think of. I'm saving up for Uncle Jake's blue truck. I do drive that truck. I actually drove it today. It's black and blue. It has smokestacks.
Yeah.
That was my uncle's.
Classic.
So I was right whenever I said I'm sure you're driving it right now. COVID-19, yeah, that happened.
It's kind of a time capsule for anyone who didn't know what it was like back then, you know? I mean, you were joking a lot, I'm sure. You didn't actually envision yourself being on the front lines.
Right.
But but it's kind of, like everyone listening to this better know about it. We're not that far removed yet, but
Yeah.
sometimes I felt like that.
It has. It's actually, it's still. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're not that far away from it.
Yeah.
I still very much know what it was, but that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Which is crazy because I do remember that very much, but I don't remember writing this at all. The moped. I drove a moped whenever I could not drive yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, since then we've taken it all the way apart. We were gonna put a bigger motor on it, and then I never did that, and it sat for a few years now. I do remember the day that I talked about working in the 90-degree weather. Because we took my dad's black dually truck. For any car enthusiasts out there, it's like a 90s, I think it's a 91 C1500 two-wheel drive extended cab, black Rhino liner down the sides. We took it in the backyard and we were pulling a stump because I think there was a stump somewhere. I think, unless I'm thinking of a different time, because we did pull a stump at someone else's house. Regardless, I remember both of those days, and I guess it was hot that day. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I still don't care for my name. I guess I probably liked it a lot less back then.
That's a crazy thing to put in your life.
I know. I don't know. It's alright.
I couldn't imagine you being named something else.
I know. Neither could I. I've accepted it, and I don't even think about it that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that is what it is, but, like, it'd be so cool if I was like Mordecai.
No,
Jason.
It would not.
Yes, it would.
People would call you Mort.
Okay. They'd be like, hey, Mort. I'm like, that's short for Mordecai.
It's
buddy.
Mordecai. You better watch yourself.
I've always thought about, I don't have a shortened name, like you do.
Logie Bear.
That's longer than, like you could have Walt.
Or Wally.
I'll call you Wally.
I know, no one does. Please don't call me that, actually.
I just call you Walter. I call you Walter Cotlin.
Yeah, there is no short name for Logan. Never thought about that.
Logie Bear is a common nickname, though. But a lot of kids on the soccer team called me Woody, because that's my last name.
Yep.
Impartial. What else?
You can hear your childlike wonder in the writing still.
Yeah. I'm sure you have figured out life by now. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean, okay. What, do you ever figure out life at any point?
No, you don't.
Because I think you're always gonna be in the next chapter.
Yep.
Until you're like Impa.
And I would bet you.
Zelda.
And I would bet you that you were aware of that when you wrote it.
I don't know.
I would bet you were.
Really?
Yes.
Because the way that I said,
I was told that you're never gonna figure it out. You're never gonna fully figure it out. Like, I knew that, right?
So maybe what I'm referencing here, though, is like, I'm sure you have figured out life by now. Maybe at the point of what I thought, like, I don't know where I'm gonna go to college. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
And yes, I have figured that part out yet. But there's new things.
There's new things. You did figure it out. You figured out a lot of stuff that your 8th grade self hadn't done yet, right? But exactly.
Yeah.
You couldn't have accounted for what you now know,
And just work and call it a day. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know the last line. If you were ever in the neighborhood, give me a call. You should know the number. Is that something that I lyrically like? Did I lyrically come up with that? Like the lyrical genius I was, or is this something like
You think
we had like a response
might be in
from
reference
the
to
teacher.
something?
I don't know. Or if the teacher was like, here's some ideas as things you can end your letter with.
Oh, that'd be such a shame. I hope that that's not the case.
But I don't remember.
Because that was a bar. I heard that, and I was like, dang, Logan's got heat.
Maybe I did.
Give me a call. Whew.
That's right. You should know the number,
You
buddy.
should know the number, buddy.
I don't know. And if it was like a automated response, I don't remember. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Did it help? Was that like a... Were you surprised in what you found in that letter?
I was. I don't remember writing it at all. I don't remember anything that I don't remember any part that I said. I just remember the parts that I was referencing, and I think I know what, like I do remember what time frame where I was at, I guess, kind of, but at the same time, like that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was and it wasn't.
Yeah, it was only 4 years ago or whatever, but like there was a lot that happened.
There was a lot that happened.
Yeah. But I'm curious to hear yours.
Okay.
This is the same. You writing this one, is the same as me writing mine. So.
You wrote yours 4 years ago, correct?
Yeah.
I wrote mine last year.
You wrote this last year?
Yeah.
Then when did you read it?
This year.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you wrote this freshman year.
No, I wrote this freshman year of college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Okay. I want to find it so bad. And I checked my box of like my file of things. And I would be so shocked if I threw it away. I don't know why I would have done that. Because I remember reading it. The letters get better the more time that passes between writing and reading them, right? So 4 years, and I remember the feeling I had when I read it. It felt really special.
First of all, why did you write this one? Let's do, because we did mine.
Yeah.
Let's have some context for yours.
Okay. I'll have to, if and when I find that, I'll read it and we can compare the two then. I intend for this to be the last time I'm going to talk about my freshman year on this podcast, because the first episode was talking about fun, happy things, like all the whimsy that I'll have going to college, and my hopes and dreams and blah, blah, blah. And from the second episode on, it's kind of been like, oh, it was not like that. Oh, man, was it a lot harder and tested me a lot more. So I guess I'm sorry, Logan, because I didn't mean to hijack the podcast like that. And I'm frankly sick of talking about it myself, because I just want to put it behind me and move on.
Okay.
So
I think a lot of people have been like, my mom has talked about it, my aunt and uncle have talked about it, enjoying listening to you talk about college, and we talk about college because I think it's an interesting.
It's a pressing issue.
Who else makes podcasts though, talking about like their current experience in college right now, and like me who's about to be in college.
That's true, I guess. Yeah.
So, yeah, I
do intend to talk about college a lot more. I'm so excited for this coming year, and maybe I'll talk about that after the letter.
Okay.
But this is going to be, I hope, the last time I ever get mopey and sad about my freshman year. Okay. The first week of my college experience was not actually college classes. The freshmen are allowed on campus a week before everyone else, so they have orientation and they can get used to the campus and how it's run, right? I think it was like, it was that week. Maybe it was the day before classes, but our essays, our sophomore advisors, gave us pens and paper, and they're like, write a letter to your future self, and we'll collect them. Okay. I started writing. I remember being unsure of what to write about, because of all the unknowns that were going on. My mind was racing.
Was this the intent for like after freshman year you would read this?
Yes.
Or was this like the end of college?
They didn't tell us that, but
okay.
But yeah, I think the intent was from the get-go to after freshman year.
Okay.
I was scared. I was writing about a lot of stuff on my mind at the time. It was very fast, you know, and I kind of put it behind me, you know, like it was fast. It was like, here, do this, and now you're done. Let's move on. Fall quarter went by so fast, you know. It was bang, 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 one after another. New things happening, meeting new people. I remember I could see it and hear it in everyone I talked to. Everyone was being super, super polite to everyone else, and I'm sure you are definitely gonna experience that too. The first couple weeks of college, everyone's playing it safe. Everyone. You're trying to be nice and meet people. You have to network really fast because although you never stop networking, you never stop meeting people, this is the last time you'll ever be thrown into that environment ever. Like you're moving schools one last time, you know,
Right.
and it has so many different viewpoints, so many different people. I remember once we finally got comfortable, like around like week 6, and hearing the way these people talk, totally different than when I first met them because we were all just trying to be nice
Really?
and inoffensive. Yeah, it took a long time
You
to
never mentioned this, I don't think.
to warm up. Yeah,
Wow.
and what everyone actually did a really good job at, which is a bad thing, is hiding their insecurities and fears. I didn't know me and my closest friends, we all like found a place to hide and cry the first week. Like not just cry, like have a meltdown. It's scary, you know. You kind of you're forced to question everything you are and everything you've done. So
Huh.
in hindsight, yeah, that makes sense. Like all these people I care about, equally intelligent, smart people, probably more intelligent, who are emotionally available. Of course, they would also cry, you know. But you couldn't let anyone else know that because as far as anyone else knew, no one else was crying. You can't be the only one, right?
Right.
It was really therapeutic to learn that everyone cried.
This is crazy. This
And
is crazy because I'm going into college like
yeah,
almost like halfway nonchalant.
yeah,
I'm like nervous for it, but
uh-huh,
it's almost like just starting a new year of high school to me. But it's
yeah,
like significantly this is eye opening.
yeah. I called my sister first, and I was a nervous wreck. I was sobbing, crying all over the place. You know,
Interesting.
I was concerned. This is kind of straight from the letter, but it's a long story, and I want to do the letter justice. You know, I was concerned that like I chose the wrong major. I called my sister
Really?
and I was like,
week 1?
week 1, I was like, everyone here loves math, and I'm kind of impartial to it. You know, I love 3D printing. I love the design. I love software and analysis, but I don't like calculus. You know, as a subject. And she is an amazing person. She calmed me down, told me to like keep my head up. Everyone goes through it. Don't give up yet. You've got so much more stuff to figure out.
Is she
Sage advice, sage wisdom.
graduated from college yet, or is she about to go?
She just graduated from college
Okay.
and got accepted to a graduate program for chemistry.
Okay.
So she's going to 5 more years of school to get her
Wow.
PhD. Yeah,
Wow.
very cool. And so if anyone knows about
College.
sticking it through,
Yeah.
it's her.
Yep. Yep.
And again, it's a recurring theme. I come to find out a lot of people don't like math either. They're all just faking it. They're all just trying to put up an image, a facade of like this cool guy who can meet a lot of friends and do all these things when it's really hard to maintain that. And all of this I was unaware of fall quarter, right? Like fall quarter, it was all a big facade. Everyone was lying to each other, for better or for worse. Winter quarter starts, and I have not thought about this letter. I've not thought about who I oh, I thought about who I was a lot, right?
Really.
I thought about who I used to be a lot. I was obsessed with it. I've talked about swimming a lot. I won't rehash too much of that, but I was going through my swimming crisis and contemplating quitting. So this on top of rigorous coursework, it's fast, it's hard. On top of people still not coming out of their shells, it wasn't immediate. You know, it took some time of realizing that everyone was going through the same thing. You know, I got lost. I was quote unquote lost in the sauce, you might say. I definitely forgot or lost a lot of the values that I came to college with. I'd stopped doing things for myself, and I was going all in on trying to fit in, which is really, really weird to me, because that's not what I thought college would be like. I thought I would instantly be independent and take on my new responsibilities with ease, you know. It's no sweat it, like just.
Which is weird. Yeah, that's exactly how I think
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. You're in charge of your own life for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I would think every single facet of your life you have control over. There's no one looking out for you. There is, but nowhere near to the extent of what your parents did, right? So in trying to fit in and be buddy buddy with all these people who were still lying to me with like who they actually were, you know, and I was lying to them, it's hard. It's really hard. Some might say it's impossible.
Okay.
I finished winter quarter, and I know I've talked extensively about that, so I won't go into that. I go to spring quarter. Finally, these people I'm like getting accustomed to, you know, and they're opening up. And at this point, I know, like, oh yeah, everyone cried the first week. Oh yeah, everyone thought that sucked or that was boring, as opposed to them still lying through their teeth and being like, oh yeah, no, I had a lot of fun, blah blah blah. For some reason, even after knowing this, and even after being to understand that like everyone had a hard time and everyone went through the same thing, I was still clinging to the fact that I needed to fit in. So I tried going to a lot of parties that I didn't really want to go to hang out with people that I still enjoy, but maybe I would have been better if I slept. You know, like,
right.
I was tired, I should have slept. You know, or you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of other stuff I could do, especially in college. So maybe partying wasn't the right choice there.
So then where did the letter come in?
Letter comes in at the end of spring quarter, at the end of the year.
Did you forget about it?
100%.
Really?
Everyone forgot about it. No one remembered this.
Did you remember what you wrote?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
The RAs didn't even know. So the RAs are the bosses of the essays.
Okay.
Sophomore advisors, resident advisors, or resident assistant. So it was just the essays, these 4 people who came with this idea, and they were orchestrating it. My year was not good. I knew that. I knew some things had to change. And I knew that I used to be better. I knew that I used to be a carefree guy who got his stuff done on time, who was a friend people could talk to. I knew these things for a fact, and it was killing me. It was so frustrating knowing that somehow I worked very hard to go in the opposite direction. All this person I've built up, and the good habits I had, I worked very hard to undo.
And this old person is in this letter, right?
And this old person's in this letter. So I was given the letter, realized what it was, didn't read it right away, because I knew there was going to be something special about this letter. And I wanted to be in the right frame of mind. So I didn't, it was around a campfire. They handed it out around a campfire, shared stories about the year, and then I went back to my room. It was a couple days later when I finally was alone and had time. So I opened it, and this is what it says. I'm going to read it in full, and we can talk about it later.
Okay.
Future Walter. Right now, I'm writing you this as I'm sitting in the lobby surrounded by cool people while Mario Kart is playing. I'm on top of my homework and optimistic about the future. This stuff is hard, but I'm trying not to be discouraged. Please try and keep your head up. The family loves you and cares about you, and they believe in you too. Your degree is going to be worth it with all the stuff you're going to learn along the way. Just remember to keep up with your other hobbies. Follow your passions like band and books and film and video games, and keep learning. It would be so sick if you had a girlfriend by now, because the joke's getting old. If swim becomes too much, don't be scared to leave it behind. You had a good run. No one can take that from you. Don't compromise who you are. There's a lot more to say, but I'm being asked to hurry up. Stay sexy. Pass Walter. So apparently I wrote that in the first week of class, probably. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned about swim. Like, you were...
That is fascinating, isn't it?
You were aware that it probably would be something that you
I
dropped.
I just got chills right now because you brought it up. Because the listener might not be too aware of... I've tried to share a lot, but it's hard to put all out there. I read this, and I was blown away by how every single sentence I wrote in this letter, I didn't do.
Really?
Yes.
You didn't do band?
That's hard. That is a hard thing to ignore all this stuff.
And that's crazy because it wasn't like you were like
I can go
consciously. It was just completely.
No one has the intention to self-implode,
right?
And to ignore everything they love doing,
right?
And everything that makes them who they are. And yet somehow I managed to do just that. And
okay, so what do you think that other people have the same thing? You think?
No, I don't think that. I do think I'm alone in this, because I know a lot of people who had a glow up and who found their stride
in the first year.
And who...
And for you, it crumbled.
For me, it crumbled. It disintegrated. I can go line by line. I'm sitting in the lobby surrounded by cool people. I stopped going to the lobby. I stopped caring. I didn't care about hanging out with the dorm.
Mario Kart playing?
Mario Kart, no one played Mario Kart anymore. I'm on top of my homework and optimistic about the future. I was falling behind and I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel anymore. I in winter quarter, especially during Calc 2.
You can't be alone in that. Maybe in dropping everything, but definitely not. Like I know for a fact, without even being in college yet, that people were like, I'm sure people were absolutely struggling.
I guess. I don't guess. There are definitely people who struggle more. In school, there are people who did worse. And I know a lot of great guys who aren't coming back to Rose next year.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not working for them. But the difference is they are cognizant of that and they made that decision. And I think it's the right decision for them. Rose isn't working. Maybe engineering's not working. They're making a pivot in their life, right? I still want to be an engineer. For how much crap I went through and how much crap I put on myself, there wasn't really a time where I was like, guess I'm going to be a business major. I wanted to be an engineer.
Which I think that's going to make you that much better of an engineer.
You think?
I absolutely think so. And I wonder if I'm going to have the same thing. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll go through. It'll be a breeze. I don't know.
That's possible, yeah. Like
it's just like I don't know. It's weird.
It was so frustrating for me because I wanted to be an engineer still, and this is still happening, right? Yeah. If you're going to quit, then it's kind of like, okay, my grades suck, and I know why, because this isn't fun. I don't want to do this, right? Mm-hmm. But I wanted to be an engineer, like, so why is this slipping away from me? I think I was trying, like I was studying. I probably wasn't asking enough questions, but like,
oh, it's hard, man.
It's hard.
College is hard.
And I'm on top of here. I'm reading again. I'm on top of my homework and optimistic about the future. In one sentence, it's like exactly the opposite. Exactly the opposite. I was not on top of my homework, and I couldn't think about the future. I couldn't afford to think about the future, right? I was so in hell.
Yeah.
In the present, the present was too much to think about. So how could I contemplate the future? I'll go on. Yeah, this stuff is hard, but I'm trying not to be discouraged. I had given up. I had just accepted that.
At what point?
When did I give up?
Yep.
When I quit the team, and I didn't feel better. I was expecting to quit the swim team and walk out of the office like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, but I left the pool.
Did you feel worse?
Feeling burdened. I felt heavy.
Really?
Yeah. Like I knew I made the wrong choice.
Do you think you did now?
I think before I finish my college career, I will swim again. 100%.
I've thought about it.
I'll put in another year.
Okay. People do come back to sports
to prove to myself that I can, and to
what
add
was
something.
The
to
thing
the
that
team.
you talk about, what year is hardest for engineers?
Sophomore year, and that's pretty standard amongst all colleges. Because freshman year is the core classes. So, for example, just calculus.
Mhm.
But sophomore year is fluids and dynamics and thermo and conapps and ESIS, electrical systems. So like those classes use calculus, but they're like a true engineering subject matter now.
Right.
Like you have to know how heat transfer works. So there's a class about that. And that's why it's so hard, because you have these hard classes already and you've got to manipulate the equations and skill sets you have to solve these complex problems.
Right.
That's why it's so hard. I'm not, believe it or not, right now I'm optimistic about that, because I wanted to be an engineer to do that. I didn't choose engineering to learn calculus. Calculus just sucks.
Right.
For me. But heat transfer, that's fascinating to me, right? Like, how does heat transfer through an object? How does it spread out through the material,
Right.
Or how does it change based off conductivity or based on solids and states of matter, liquids, gases, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Your family loves and cares about you, and they believe in you 100%.
You think that's 100% backwards?
I think
they
that
don't love you, and they.
I think that while I always knew deep down that they did, I never questioned their love for me or how much they believed in me. I just
Felt alone.
I just felt, yes, that's a great way of putting it.
Okay.
Like yes, they love and care about me, but
They're far away.
they're far away. Exactly. They're far away, and they have their own problems. And this is college now, and this is me. This is my weight to carry.
Right.
This is my ball and chain. Which is never true, by the way, about anything. I have yet to come across something that was truly and 100% all me, all my own. Because you can always talk to someone, and you can always get their input,
Right.
or just like take a breath, de-stress, talk about video games.
This is prepping you though for the real world, becoming a
Yeah.
working man where you solving your own problems.
Yeah.
You're not relying on mommy and daddy no more. But in that sense, like, you don't have to just like
Right.
keep your problems to yourself.
Right. Use them to both of your advantage. That makes sense?
Right.
You don't have to ask them to do something for you, or like tutor me in calculus, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can totally talk to your parents about like, I'm having a hard time in calculus.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I opened up and talked to somebody, my parents especially, they would have this amazing anecdote and a great way of coaching me through what was going on, or giving me strength. And
Because they've been through.
they've been through it,
Yeah.
And in college, you'll definitely understand the value of talking to people. Like as a kid, and your grandparents and parents would just sit on the porch and talk, and you're bored and you want to do something. You'll understand why they do that.
Right.
Because all of a sudden it becomes not only important, but fun. It's really, really fun picking someone's brain.
You think it's needed?
I think it's needed 100%.
Okay.
It's needed. It's a valuable life skill. And when you're surrounded by a good support system, they want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I also told myself that. I was like, well, they're too busy, don't bother them with this. But when someone is happy and successful, then they naturally want to get someone to that point too.
Right.
I say that because that's where I was in high school. I liked being the captain of the swim team because I had a couple of years of swimming under my belt. I could help someone like you who's new, or the freshman. Like, okay, this is how we do this. This is why we do this. If you don't like it, tell me, and I'll talk to coach. or I'll deal with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because my brain was so clear. It was so clear back then. And I think a lot of that was in part to swim. Like, being in the sport really helps you clear your brain. Would you agree?
I think so. And then you took that away.
Yep, I did take that away. Your degree is going to be worth it with all the stuff you learn along the way. Just remember to keep up with your other hobbies. Fall quarter and winter quarter, the only thing I did was quit swim and add band. So I stayed neutral in hobbies, right? I did not play like any video games at all.
Really?
Which, growing up, parents and adults will say like turn it off, go outside, right? And I do appreciate that. I love playing outside too. I spent a lot of time playing volleyball in college, but to fully reject a major part of your childhood and life up until that point instantly isn't good for you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like video games because they rotted my brain. The video games I liked and enjoyed, I enjoyed because they made me think.
Right.
And they got me exposed to music.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would not be anywhere near invested in playing trombone if not for Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Okay.
And those amazing soundtracks that I would turn on the game, go to a level, and then just sit there listening to as a kid.
Absolutely. There's a lot of times I even add to a playlist when I'm doing homework and stuff. It's like a more just like a relaxing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Breath of the Wild music.
Yeah.
That are just like, they're so good.
They're brilliant.
They're brilliant.
The composers are masterminds,
and
because
at that time of me listening to them in the game was a special part.
Yeah.
That it's like I reconnect there.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I don't know, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a deeper level to a lot of that.
It's so skillful. Taylor Swift, or I don't know. I just said Taylor Swift. Insert modern artist today. I'm not saying they do a bad job or make bad music.
Ice Spice.
But they try to make you feel something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best ones do that, and they can do it with words. And like I'm a big proponent of what's a bar and what's not a bar. Sometimes it's poetry. It's great, right?
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan, yeah. And they can make you feel these things with lyrics and stuff like that.
Right.
But in video games, 90% of the time there's no words.
It's like it's the mood.
It's the mood.
Yeah.
And let's take Breath of the Wild, for example. It's a ruined city.
Mm-hmm.
Link wakes up 100 years later and all of his friends are dead. and the town of Hyrule or the land of Hyrule is in shambles.
Right.
So all he's going to hear is the breeze and crickets, and occasionally the piano will go like boom boom.
Yeah. Because
you're alone. It's a very exposed soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's a single pianist, and it's a single main character roaming the wilds. And then when you go to, for example, Rito Village, a city of bird people,
mm-hmm.
the music soars.
Yes.
It feels like the strings come in, and it feels like they're fluttering along.
My favorite area is in Zora's Domain, and the theme of Zora's Domain, especially at nighttime. This is the water area in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. It's calming. It sounds like it would be in a water area. I don't know. They're brilliant at Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
Especially like the music.
Yep. And
Nintendo games in general, the music is just phenomenal.
Phenomenal, and it's complemented by the amazing game.
Yes, it is. I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
The story, and I think Nintendo writes some of the best stories with the best story elements and plot lines and characters. Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, Breath of the Wild was Game of the Year for a reason. The game itself, like the engine, has to render and create all of these moving parts and character models and lighting effects on the Switch, mm-hmm. which is a 30 FPS console and not 60.
Right.
So how do they do that? And you can watch breakdowns how they did it, where like the reason Breath of the Wild looks like that with the cell shading is just a very, yeah, it's a beautiful art style, but it's such a clever way to save data
Mm-hmm.
and to hide pop in and to make room for all the other creativity, right? Like it's a beautiful work of art, the whole game, that everything complements each other, everything is created for the single purpose of a great user experience, right?
Right.
So if you and I can talk about that for, I don't know, 5 minutes, we could be gone for hours.
Which I think next episode, I think we should talk about the Switch 2 and more of this, but continue.
If you and I can talk about that for in such detail and our appreciation for it, why would I neglect it?
Exactly.
Why would I tell myself it's bad or that I'm wasting my time doing that?
You did?
Yeah, 100%.
Or
I should have been.
Or was it just you just didn't have
I
time?
should have been studying.
You make yourself feel bad if you did play?
100%. Yeah, I would feel like I'm letting myself down, like I'm letting my family down, because they're not like, college isn't cheap, you know. Right. No one's paying for me to go to college and play
exactly.
Video games in my room,
exactly.
right? But there's a balance for everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need time though. You need time
to decompress and like STEM majors in engineering are kind of highbrow, deep, math focused degrees.
Mm-hmm.
There's not often a lot of times where people talk about film or talk about video games because, yeah, they don't have time, but I just don't think it's a medium that a lot of engineers enjoy, in my experience. So I couldn't even talk about it with anyone.
Really?
Yeah, like a huge part of my life, it was hard to talk about it with.
I'm very curious for next year
mm-hmm.
in college if we need to continue the podcast.
Yeah.
Because then we can talk about that.
Yeah.
And maybe that will change your experience.
Yeah.
In a minor way, or so. Maybe a drastic way.
I would love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to other people.
Don't like your other engineers. They don't like video games.
There is one guy on my floor, and frankly, who's the only guy in the hall who was a CS major, and he had other CS friends. So that's not technically engineering, but like whatever. Yep. It's still STEM. And he had an original NES, SNES. He had the Zapper. So I played the original Duck Hunt on his old CRT TV. He had posters of animes that I enjoyed, movies on DVD that he liked. And yes, there were times where I walked in that room and I talked to him, and it was like stepping into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Like, his room was amazing. But he was never there, Right. And I was rarely in my room.
Because you're busy.
Because I'm busy. So I want to make this clear. Yes, I was busy, but you know how many times I would sit down with like 6 hours ahead of me, 6 hours of free time. And it's like, okay, I'm going to study. No one studies for 6 hours straight, and it's a good study session. Right. That's not possible. I would argue no one studies for more than 3 hours straight, and it's a good study session. Three's the upper limit. So if I have 6 hours where I'm telling myself I'm going to study, what would end up happening is I'd have maybe an hour and a half of good quality studying and reviewing the material, right? And the other 4 or so hours was me sitting there moping about how much I'm struggling, how much I hate this, not asking for help. When I would take breaks to go to the bathroom or to walk downstairs and see what's up, I wouldn't talk to any of my friends or the dorm about real things. I would just talk about, oh, you're watching soccer? Who's winning? Barcelona? That's pretty cool. Because I was playing into it too. I was trying to hide that, that I was struggling. Just like how I'm sure they were at that point in time too, So
maybe you need to branch out and you need to talk to people about, or get study session groups.
I know
Did you study with anyone or no?
Yeah, I studied with some people. But
Because in Purdue, they do
but that
talk
okay,
about...
that is hard. That is really hard because
Really?
everyone. I was still friends with the swim team. I'm not making an excuse, by the way. I'm just informing you that like you're right. I should have studied with people. I should have studied with people. I was still friends with the swim team, and so for half the year, not every Friday, at least 1 or 2 nights a week they were gone, and they were doing their homework on the road, or they're like a whole Saturday they were just gone because they were at a meet, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And they have their own hobbies. There's of course, there's fine arts and stuff like that, but there's like competitive STEM teams like concrete canoe, and design build fly, and there's a motorsports team. There's many more, but there's clubs like ASME, the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, that I was a part of. There's also that for chemicals and for civils, and there's social clubs like frats and sororities, and there's like the National Society of Women Engineers. On and on and on. You never want to ask someone for help or to explain a concept when you know that they're struggling too, they're busy, and they've got their own problems going on. Why would they bother? Why would they want to help you? You know?
Maybe they need help in the same...
I think they do. And I think the people, again, like I said, a lot of times they're okay to help. They're happy to help, you know? As long as they see that you are putting in an effort to learn, then they're okay with helping. Because again, I was that same way. I would know pretty much immediately in high school when someone was asking for help, if they're asking for answers or if they're asking for help.
Right.
Because if they're asking for answers, I just give them the answers. I don't care. Like, make this quick, right?
Right.
If they were like asking inquisitive questions to understand the material better and for advice on the next test, then I'd take the time to do that.
Which is interesting because I never asked Peter that much. I would ask him for help, but I never really felt like he wanted to help at all. So I didn't ask him that much, yeah. Maybe I thought, like, especially for like physics, maybe he thought, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention enough, or I just wanted answers or whatever. Like, I truly, like, I was curious about things.
Yeah.
And he never just, so I would go to Seth. But Seth and Peter would also work on stuff together, so then I would just figure it out.
Yeah.
That didn't end, it wasn't great.
Right. It's hard. Some people might not. I guess I would hazard that if they understand school pretty good and you ask for help and they don't want to help you, that something else is going on. Like that they're burdened with something socially, you know, or maybe they're just really tired, or they had a bad day at practice.
Yeah.
Or maybe their home life's not that good. I don't know. But I think people want to help people fundamentally.
I think so.
And there's a lot of stuff that can get in the way of that. So you have to keep it in mind. We'll get through this, I promise.
This is going to be an extended episode.
Yeah, follow your passions like band and books and film and video games. We talked about that extensively. I just want to add books. I didn't read a lot. I read a lot of short stories.
Did you?
I am proud of myself for that. I read a lot of short stories because they were something that were bite-sized I could keep up with and not put too much time into, but still get a lot of rewarding.
So maybe you need to play like
or
Squad Busters.
I love Squad Busters, bro.
I actually stopped.
I would play Pokemon Go and Clash of Clans on the toilet all the time. That's when I allowed myself to play mobile games. Maybe
it needs to be quick, or things that you don't like. You're not booting up the console,
right?
And like getting ready for like an hour play session or something.
Right.
Maybe it needs to be something short,
like something with like quick levels.
Yeah,
like 5-minute bursts.
Yeah,
that I can bunch together in like groups of 5 or 15 or 10. You know. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Squad Busters is good too. Squad Busters. Although I already haven't been playing.
Yeah, me neither. I have not.
I have not been playing that game. Yeah. Film. It's the end of the year, but I finally watched a movie for myself. There have been a lot of times where I'd watch a movie with a group of friends, but they were always garbage. Sorry to all you Step Brothers fans out there, but that movie's trash. It's way too long. The pacing's off. It's kind of funny and that's it, right? But it's a good movie to put on when you're with a group of friends who also don't want to pay attention to the movie, right?
Right. Yep.
I hate watching movies like that. I really hate it.
Okay, do you watch or do you do what they're doing? You not really pay attention?
I try and watch. That's why I hate it, because it's like this
Okay.
is mindless.
Right.
What are we doing here? We're playing a movie while talking about nothing, and the movie's talking about nothing. And I could be studying. I could be playing volleyball with friends, or I could be watching a real movie. Case in point, Fight Club. My roommate and I sat down one night and just watched Fight Club. And we weren't talking through it. We weren't on our phones. It's 2 hours long.
Good
and we
movie.
sat there in silence for 2 hours watching the movie. And then we talked about it for an hour.
Good time.
Good time. I love that movie. Fight Club, top 10. Gotta be.
I think I've seen clips of it.
You've got to see that movie. It's actually incredible. And I couldn't talk about this with anyone at Rose, because I don't think anyone either cares or pays attention to it. But Brad Pitt's performance, are you like aware of when someone's acting good?
Kind of. You're much more of a movie person than I am.
Brad
I don't watch
Pitt,
a lot of movies.
there's one segment where it was like so raw. And if you watch it, we can talk about it later, but
Okay.
I was blown away. I was like, wow, I couldn't do that. There are some movies where I watch, I'm like, I bet you I could deliver that line the same, if not better. Or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I could do that scene pretty good. I couldn't do it the way Brad Pitt did it. It was incredible. Okay, also, that statement, no duh, bro. Like, no duh, this kid from Ohio and Indiana who stutters when he talks can act as good as Brad Pitt, right? But it's true, like, it was really good. So I'm glad I watched that movie. And it sucks it took me that long to realize it, but I did. Almost done, folks. It would be so sick if you had a girlfriend by now, because the joke's getting old.
Let's talk about that.
Time out. I did have a girlfriend.
You did?
I did. I don't know if I want to talk about it, though.
Okay.
Because I harbor no
ill
will towards her. Yeah. And I don't want to trounce her, because it sucked.
You don't have to name her. I'm sure if she was listening, though, she knows who you are.
She would know, but that's fine, because we had a very healthy talk about it. So I'm not going to say anything new.
Well, I'm just talk about. Can you talk about broad?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Was it good?
Yeah.
How long did it last?
So this past year, I did get a girlfriend, and
I did not know this at all.
It was for
Which is interesting.
It was
you got a girlfriend during this time of
strife.
Yep.
It was for the right reasons. I want to be a dad, and I want to have a family. And I'm not saying that she would have been that, right?
Right.
I'm not trying to, like, that is way down the road, right? But I want to do things that would make me a good dad, or have a good family, or that would provide for my kids, right? Mm-hmm. So getting a girlfriend is the first step of that, right?
Right.
So I think I had an open mind about a lot of things. I think that she's still a great person, and I had a lot of fun, like, talking with her. She's a Swiftie, so for how much I generally dislike Taylor Swift, I did enjoy learning about someone else's interests, you know? Mm-hmm. I gave Taylor Swift a chance for the first time in my life, and I was rewarded, you know? There's a lot of songs I like of hers now, And I think she's a good performer. She has really good concerts. She knows how to work a crowd really well. But from the beginning, my biggest flaw was that I wanted to be a dad too bad. And I really want to convey this the right way, because it kind of sounds like now that I want you to be the mother of my kids, right? It wasn't, I promise you it wasn't like that. But I saw a candidate for who could be my wife, or who I would like to spend a lot of my time with.
Which is what, if you have a girlfriend, that's the idea though.
But as my first girlfriend, and my first girlfriend at the age of 19, I found someone who could be that, and I told myself that she was that. Not that I wanted to marry her, but I held on to the relationship for much longer than I should have, because I was so excited to be starting this process. I was so excited to be like, wow, I have a girlfriend, and I'm now one of those guys that has a girlfriend. We talk about stuff, like we're pretty open with each other. This is great. I'm on my way, I was not on my way. It was, I won't go into detail, but from the outsider's perspective, it was like a grade school recess holding hands relationship.
Really?
I think so.
All the way in college?
I think so. It was
How long did it last for?
5 months.
Okay.
Pretty much all of winter quarter.
To make you sad? Or were you relieved?
All of winter quarter, half spring quarter. When it was over?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was relieved. Wasn't really sad.
Really?
Yeah, I let it go on for too long, probably, and I feel horrible about that.
It's learned.
I didn't.
You gotta learn.
I didn't intend to lead her on, but
did she really like you?
I don't know. I still respect her a lot. She's a very driven person, involved in a lot of stuff, very intelligent. But when I kind of started realizing that I wasn't having fun, I did what I did best last year and ignored it. So that was my biggest problem.
Did you tell yourself, like, this is just part of it?
Yes. I told myself, this is normal. That's what everyone goes through. Everyone feels like this.
Did you talk to anybody about this, though?
Not until month 4.
It's probably too late by then.
Yeah.
When did you start?
By the time I started talking to someone else, that's when I should have talked to her about it. That is a rookie mistake. Everyone knows communication is key. Everyone knows that. So the fact that I didn't feel comfortable talking to her about it was kind of indicative that something was wrong. And maybe that could have been fixed, but through talking to her. But
now
I didn't.
You know.
Right? I didn't, and now I know. Yeah. So
it was an experience.
It's an experience, and that information is priceless, because I can spout off, oh, communication is key. Just talk to them, And I did. I was definitely an arrogant jerk to some people, in high school, because I didn't know. I just didn't know. They would tell me about their relationship problems. I don't know why. They would. And I would just respond with the most surface level, well, did you talk to them about it? Because that's not wrong. That is what we're supposed to do.
In your defense, though.
I didn't have the full picture.
Right.
I thought it was just that simple. But when you care about someone, it's really hard to tell them that you don't like them as much, or tell them you're doing something I don't like. It's really hard to do that. Never once in my life did I think I would be the one that would break up with someone else. Never even considered it. But yeah, that's what happened. I initiated it. I always thought it'd be mutual, or that they'd break up with me, because I always assumed I would be the one doing something wrong. I don't think she did anything wrong. It's just I definitely did a lot of stuff wrong, just in my way of thinking. And
but you don't know,
I didn't know. You're right.
Like,
I didn't know, and there's a lot of things I still don't know.
I will say in your defense though about a lot of high school relationships are not
Not that
like
deep.
they're not. No, they're like we're dating for 2 months. Oh my goodness, and then it ends.
Uh-huh.
No,
No,
yeah, and
no,
it's
she
not
was
that.
my everything.
Yeah,
She was my world.
so, but that's interesting. That's a good. I did not know that.
Yeah,
You didn't talk to me.
I didn't talk to anyone.
I've been proudly with my girlfriend for 3 years.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah, I think so.
Props to you, man. That is actually something very special.
Seth has been with longer.
Yep.
Peter, I think, is less than me. Peter's also been a good while, though.
Yeah.
Group of boys is good.
Group of boys is
And then there's
good.
Walter.
And then there's me, who, my roommate still thinks that I was never dating her technically, because he said that it wasn't that deep. Like I said, it was like a grade school thing. But
that's your first rodeo, right?
yeah, I do feel I haven't fully let it go yet, you know, because there's still so much stuff that I could have done better.
It's just like a Squad Busters match. You could have picked a different character, man.
Okay.
as in like you could have. I don't know. You could have. I don't know. There's always gonna be things you could have done better.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think just how you react to it though is really what's gonna determine.
Yeah.
Like if you melt down, and you're just so distraught over the fact that you did something like, that's gonna be very different than.
Let me propose something.
Sure.
I think it is infinitely better to melt down, like outwardly, than it is to do nothing. There's a bar by Rush, amazing band, and their song Free Will.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yep. I do like that bar.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's something to live by. Because if you realize there's a problem in anything at all, or you're unhappy, and you choose to go on like nothing's wrong, that is a choice you made that you've got to live with. And that affects other people, whether you like it or not. So...
Which I think...
So
melting down is definitely like the extreme. And I think there's better ways to kind of handle, but...
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't.
That's the max?
I think extreme in terms of what?
Like, if something was wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you could have talked to her.
Yeah.
And have an open conversation. I think that would have been better than completely, like, just losing it.
Okay. I see what you mean. Yes,
but
you're right.
I think completely losing it, if it was that, or letting it just, like, ball up and collapse, you definitely, like, showing that there's something wrong is significantly better.
Yeah. And I should not have lost it to anyone, especially her. And I didn't. But you ever seen Cowboy Bebop?
Mm-mm. I've heard about it. I've listened to music of it.
Cowboy Bebop, for those who don't speak my rushed language. For anyone who's watching will know there's a title card that just says, you're going to carry that weight. And in the context of the show, it's very meaningful. But just as a statement, you're going to carry that weight. Also kind of something to live by, where it's like, you're going to carry the weight of a lot of things that you do.
Mm-hmm. How much weight is it going to be?
And how long are you going to carry it for?
Yeah.
And those are things you can't control. You can control. So, yeah, I should have done a lot of things different, but I'm glad.
It was an experience, and it was good for you to have it.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And I referred to it as a grade school relationship, which I don't think is fair to her. That's my honest view of it. I don't know if she still thinks a bit like that, or if she did, or insert viewpoint here. But yeah, that's how it was, and I guess that's the one thing I did in this letter. Uh, if you had a girlfriend by now, that'd be great because the joke's getting old.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, but that's the one thing I guess the joke was. It's okay. The joke's getting old. It's a classic joke that Walter has no girlfriend. It's fine. I'm okay with living that down.
If you are listening to this, where it says, "What did you think about this episode?" Please tell us what you thought of the relationship. I'm talking to you out there.
Mom.
No, the girl.
Oh, okay. Great.
Tell us what was it a childish fling?
She doesn't have to do that.
Okay. Sure, she's not listening.
She's not listening. I hope. Well, I don't know.
It is useful though if you guys tell us what you guys think of the episode.
Yeah, for anyone listening.
If you've made it this far.
If you made it this far,
this is a very long episode.
Especially if you made it this far to episode 6,
mm-hmm.
then please tell us what we're doing wrong, what we do better, because we're always looking for more input, and it's invaluable,
Absolutely.
But yes, okay. 2 more sentences, guys. If swim becomes too much, don't be scared to leave it behind. You had a good run. No one can take that from you.
Okay, doing the complete opposite would have probably been staying with swim.
Mm-hmm.
Because you already foresaw that you were going to...
Doing the complete opposite would be staying with swim.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the opposite is quitting swim for the wrong reasons and harboring that grudge. The sentence says what I wrote.
Oh,
what I wrote as
I know what you mean.
What I wrote as a freshman, or yeah, as a starting out.
Right.
You had a good run. Just don't be afraid to leave it behind. No one can fault you for it, and no one can. No one lived my life. No one experienced the part of the team I didn't like, or the part of the sport I didn't like. Right.
And whether that run is over or not entirely, you did have a good run. You had a great run, I think. Significantly better than me, the fastest one on the team whenever I was there.
Yeah.
Like your name is on the board.
And on the board of Knox too. Because I broke their visiting pool record.
For the breaststroke.
For the breaststroke.
I was there.
Should have been for the 52. God, I sold that race so hard. It was 0.3 slower than my PR. So all I had to do was swim like a slightly slower PR. I would have had 2 records on that board. And I couldn't do it. I added so much time on that race. It was bad. We're getting sidetracked.
Yeah, we are.
Which is fine. It's fine. Interrupt as much as you want.
You quit for the wrong reasons?
I quit for the... No. Here, I'll say this right now, concisely, because it took me a long time to figure out why exactly I quit. Because some people think it's for the coach. Some of my friends thought it was because I just didn't like swimming anymore. It's because it wasn't Lowell.
Really?
It's because it couldn't fill the void that Lowell had previously occupied. The team, Lowell's team, some team.
Like the high school team?
The high school team. I was so ready to graduate, like high school, as a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And I even talked to my closest friends. I was like, if we don't talk anymore, it's not because we don't like each other. It's because we're doing our own thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we're good friends and we want to pursue that relationship, then we'll just talk to each other. Mm-hmm. It's not that deep, If you want to talk to me, talk to me. If I want to talk to you, I'll talk to you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how this is going to work. This friendship's going to either continue or not. It's fine. I had that mindset about swim that like, don't get me wrong, I cried my last meet of high school. It was very emotional, but part of what made that pain bearable was knowing that I'll either interact with these people or I won't, and I'll be busy with my own team in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a new one. Kind of a toxic way of looking at it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really proud of that new shinier model mindset. But that's kind of where I was. And when I got to the team, I knew week 1. That was like day 2. I was like, this isn't as fun. This isn't the same.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Did you think it would be better?
Yeah.
Really?
The pool's a lot better. For anyone who doesn't know, Lowell's pool is atrocious.
I think we've said it.
I'm sure that
We've been there for 60 years.
We've been slowly poisoned over time by how many chemicals are in there.
Makes us tough. Makes us corn-fed tough boys.
Makes us Lowell born and raised. Yeah, the Rose Pool is.
Bro, I would expect.
It's good, bro.
Amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about the same size as Lowell's actually.
Really.
A little bit bigger. Not a long course pool, but it's just like well maintained, good facilities. It has windows. Oh my gosh, it has windows. I've talked about that before. Windows are a huge thing. Seeing the outside sun and nature, it's great.
Lowell is just like it's like a den.
It's a dungeon.
You walk in.
No light.
After school.
It's yellow.
Yeah.
It's yellow and green. The nice material things don't translate to a good team at all.
Mm-hmm.
The team at Rose, let me make this, I want to be adamant about this. The team at Rose is great. Great people. Nice people, intelligent, all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not a team. I feel comfortable saying that. I don't think that'll offend many people.
Did you guys have shower talks?
No.
Really?
No. The way the schedule was split up.
So it's just chemistry then.
Half of the team never practiced with the other half of the team because there are 2 practices back to back, and depending on your school schedule, you'd go to one or the other. So half the team from the get-go does not swim with the other half.
That can't be good.
That's not good. The coach has a hard job of coaching a lot of people. There's 65 people. So it's not really his priority, his biggest priority, to foster that culture.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of goes down to the captains and the team members themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even with a tough team schedule and a coach that's preoccupied, we still have meets together, right? We still see each other all the time. So what's wrong? I just don't think truly anyone else had a team as close as ours was.
The Lowell team?
Yeah.
Your senior year? Or just in general?
The whole 4 years of high school. I think the best year the team ever was junior year. Followed closely behind by senior year. But you were a freshman then, right? Or no, you were a sophomore, my junior year. The seniors, when you were a sophomore...
I'm only a year younger than you.
Yeah. The seniors, when you were a sophomore, Jackson, Jack, Dylan.
Yeah.
Those guys were incredible. And that team was insane. But every team was, right? And we would come back from a hard practice. We all tried. We all were very driven. And it's cold. And we all hop in the showers. We strip down, play music, and just talk. And talk.
In a hot shower.
And laugh and dance and goof off. And then we go home knowing that we'll be there the next day, you know? Mm-hmm. 6 days a week, we'll be at that pool. Well, we have each other's back.
Mm-hmm.
That is so foreign at Rose for this one team. And the longer I ignored it, the longer it got worse for me. By the time I acknowledged it, like, oh, this is what the problem is, I was just a single freshman on a team of 60. Yes, I could have done a lot more to try and grow that culture, but that is something that you need to, like, it takes energy to do that. It takes a lot of time to change the mindset of a group of people that big who don't want to have their mindset changed. Maybe never will.
Which is that makes me wonder though, if that team, all of those people, did they come from teams where they
I don't think so.
like that?
I don't think so.
If everyone had come from a team like Lowell, then
it'd be gangbusters. It'd be great.
Yeah.
You and I have seen each other naked.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of other people on the Lowell swim team naked, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm comfortable with that fact. Are you uncomfortable by the fact you see me naked?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even think about it, really.
Yeah, because at that level of comfort and openness, that's where you can really start to connect to people.
Right.
Now, am I saying that Rose needs to get naked? No.
Absolutely. Okay, but they never did. They never. Isn't that correct? That they never.
They never did. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is that getting naked is the effect, not the cause.
Right.
If everyone on a team is comfortable to be naked in the locker room and carry on conversations and interact while being naked, then that means that something's right. You know, sure, I'm sure that you could have a team as close as we were, and not necessarily have to get naked. You know, there are other ways to connect and to hang out. You know, of course there is, but being naked just means that like you're tight. You know.
Yeah.
How you can't insult someone when they've seen you naked. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
How could you betray that trust that you have?
Yeah.
You know you got your back. Or you know that they have your back. And you have theirs. And that's why you're so comfortable. Because you trust the team. You trust them. And Rose didn't have that trust.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, I quit the team. And I felt so bad about it because I like swimming. I like competing. And it felt really bad to know that I gave up on this thing that I love because of something out of my control, or that I felt was out of my control. Let me walk that back. It felt really bad to give up on the team because I knew I could have done better. There were a lot of things I couldn't control. And again, it's who's to say if I could have done anything to get the team to trust each other more, right? But I didn't really try. I got the vibe that the team wasn't what I wanted it to be. I kind of told myself it wasn't going to change no matter what I did. So I just slogged through practices without really talking to people and clocked in and clocked out and went back to my room. The team at Lowell would talk all the time between sets. Like there'd be sets where we're dying, right? We did 675s on the 45, 50, 55. That was a pretty common one my last year.
I hated 75.
It's a hard set, you know? I mean, there are people out there who think that's easy and way harder, but for us, that was like a good, challenging set. One where you're breathing hard in between. Swimming is a sport where you have 5 seconds of rest to catch your breath, and you got to go again. So, in that precious 5 seconds, there'd be times where we would quip and make a wisecrack, be laughing the whole 75, pop up for air, respond, be laughing the whole 75, pop up for air, and it would just go on forever. Oh my God, those practices were magic. It's unmatched in anything I've ever done in my life.
Oh, it's just so like, I don't know why. In track, I never had that.
Yeah.
I didn't like track.
Yeah.
Swimming is significantly harder than track.
Yep.
And it was just, I don't know. I wasn't even more friends with people on the swim team. I don't know. What else are you supposed to do in a time where it's like, this is very challenging. This is very hard. And we're all doing it right now. And the light at the end of the tunnel is in 45 minutes, and we can all get in the shower. That's so like that was so exciting. To
So
me.
much
We're in
fun.
the colder pool. It's freezing cold outside.
We got
And
up at we
tonight we have
got
a
up at
team
6 o'clock
meal,
on a
which is
Saturday.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah,
we have a team meal coming up, which is gonna be so awesome.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't. What else are we supposed to do besides like let's just lighten the mood.
yeah. Let's make it our own.
We would make our own jokes like Bumpus Bumpus.
Bumpus got us through so many practices. It really did.
Yeah.
Bumpus was good.
We make jokes, make characters, make all sorts of stuff.
Do voices.
Yeah.
And be wheezing.
Yes. And I don't know. It just I guess in a way it made practices easier,
Yeah.
but I don't know. They were just so much more fun though.
It made me smile.
Yeah.
It was good. I would come up for air at Rose and
Dead silent.
Dead silent.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe freshman year, new team, new people, everyone's new besides like obviously upper people.
Yeah, you're right. But at the same time, it's like
But I guess if you don't feel it there,
something.
like it's not there.
It's not there. I want it to be there so bad though, and that's why I kind of want to go back. It's not going to be this year. This year, my main goal is to try concrete canoe and those teams. Because if I can find that team dynamic I so desperately crave there, then that's fine. I can let go swim. Like I said, I had a good run.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to make that team my own again. And I want to show them. Because if it's true, if my hunch is correct that they've never experienced that, I have 60 people who are on the cusp of experiencing a friendship and team unlike any other,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even know it yet. They have no clue how happy they can be. To the listeners at home, a lot of them also probably don't understand fully what we're talking about, I think.
Probably not.
I think the Lowell team was just so special and made us so happy.
Yeah. We've done well.
We've done well.
I always compare it to being in the military, which is probably very different. But I always felt like it was like the same type of brotherhood. But maybe it is deeper than that. Maybe it's deeper than just we're all going through something hard together. Like we all went through AP Physics together.
Right. I think it
wasn't-
is so much deeper than that.
Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be. There was something magical about those 4 years for me, and especially the 2 years with you on the team,
Mm-hmm.
where
Which is weird because soccer, I had 3 years with like Aaron and the seniors.
yeah, all great people.
And then the next year, like it was different. I'm the team leader now.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are gone.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the people that were in it. Like I wasn't as close with these people, but like freshman, sophomore year, like these are my closest friends. And then junior year, like I'm actually equally close with the swim team now, or even stronger with them than I am with like a lot of the swim kids or a lot of the soccer kids. And then the next year, it's like, okay, I'm teaching a bunch of younger kids now how to develop this team. We all were great, great guys. All of us are friends. Come back to the swim team, and it's like, it really sucks that Walter is not here. It really sucks. But all in all, it's still a very good season. The team still feels whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I knew that you left and that sucked,
Mm-hmm.
but there was just still, like, it was like 80%. Everything was still there, pretty much.
I went through the same thing. When I was a junior, I was very close to the senior class. I was the co-captain, not the main one.
Mm-hmm.
The main captain was named Jackson. That was a weird way to say that. The main captain was Jackson Skinner. He's an amazing guy, great swimmer.
On the
had
board.
so much on the board, yeah, had so much energy. And I remember being really scared, like, what's the team going to be like without Jackson? And yeah, it was different, but we took it in stride,
Mm-hmm.
it was a very different team my senior year,
Really?
but it was still good.
Did it feel the same or did it feel different?
It felt different. It felt like instead of having one hype man, which is not bad. The hype man role is hard to fill, and if you have someone who can fill it, that's great. As opposed to coming from one hype man, the whole team was getting everyone up and going,
Yeah.
and that's a different kind of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Everyone is up and ready to go.
Maybe it's the people then. Maybe just organizing, like, hey, swim team, let's all go to the Y and let's swim. Maybe that's where you'll find, as long as we like actually
Yeah.
stick to practices
Yeah,
or stick to like getting through training. Maybe that's still where the magic will be.
yeah. I've thought it's because of Rose. You know that oh well, Rose is a harder school and they prioritize academics, so swim team is not the biggest priority.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in high school, sometimes it was. Some weeks I was like, all I care about is swim. I don't think you can afford to do that at Rose, right? But the vibe I got from the team was that they knew that the school and their peers didn't care about the swim team that much, so they're not going to care about that much.
Which is interesting.
The term or the phrase "it's not that deep" applies to everything, and gets me through a lot of stuff. As you can tell, I have a big repertoire of bars that I think about or harken back to. The swim team should be that deep.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be that deep, desperately. And it wasn't.
I think that's a good goal, though. If maybe you can change the minds, or maybe it is just the people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it
Well,
it definitely still is that deep at Lowell.
good. That's really
That's
good to hear.
I hope it doesn't change. I won't be there next year.
Yeah.
Seth won't be there. Peter won't be there. A lot of the seniors, Caden won't be there. Peyton won't be there.
There's a big class your year.
Yeah.
Whereas for me it was 2 people.
Yeah. But
Last line. Don't compromise who you are. There's a lot more to say, but I'm being asked to hurry up. Stay sexy.
I think you did just that, didn't you? You compromised who you were. I don't know if compromise is the right word.
I think it's the right word. I think
so?
I think that line specifically is prophetic.
Compromise as in like you did change who you were?
Yes.
Interesting.
You knew me as someone who, and you can stop me at any point. Actually, better exercise. Tell me who I was to you when I was a senior.
In my all honest opinion, you are very much the same to me. So maybe it's just you're perceiving.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You went off to college. We still play video games. You still like music. Your music taste, you listen to different stuff in the car. You still listen to like MF Doom. You still like silly, like you still like all these things. You still like swimming. I know that there was a part in college, where something happened, and I knew that because whenever I was starting this podcast, and finally like I was gonna get all this together, like I knew that was a time where like you were very troubled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, you're very much the same person. It's a different thing I think to think about because the majority of what I knew you senior year was in swim, and like that's where I really knew you. And then after swim, we weren't practicing every day.
Right.
But I think your personality is very much the same and all of that, I know you've probably experienced a lot more. You probably changed, in a probably a good margin, but I don't know if that applies to me though. If that applies to like entirely to your everyday life of like having a large stress load and bearing through that, and now you're back to more of a similar home life like you just had.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. And it highlights an important problem that I had where I would separate myself into who I was before college and who I am now.
Which, in how you perceive, like,
yeah,
obviously how you perceive it is, like, that is how it is. Cause
yeah. But when you do that, when you make that separation, who I was became something to chase.
Rather than just thinking like you're moving.
Instead of accepting it, yeah. I would look at who I was. Sorry, the tenses are getting confusing now. I would look at who I feel I am and compare it to who I thought I was, realize I wasn't happy with it, and then scramble to try and get back to who I was in high school with all my friends surrounding me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just accepting it and moving on and going with the flow. In my desire to not peak in high school, I did exactly that. I peaked in high school, in my viewpoint.
Which you're 1 year out.
And 1 year feels like a long time.
Yeah.
1 year's a long time. And it's not, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting.
I ended the letter with "Stay sexy." A joke that is so juvenile. It's not even a joke. It's just a funny thing you'd say. Like that, oh, my past self told me to stay sexy. That's kind of dumb. That's kind of funny. That right there is the kind of thing I never do anymore. I never am dumb or stupid or silly, you know. I always think too much before I say something or do something.
But I think you've always been that way. And by always, I mean like the points that I really got to know you, and I've talked to Peter about you and this and that. You think a lot.
Yeah,
I think you always have.
Yeah.
I'll say something to you, and you'll like sit there and think about it for like, and whether you talk about it or not, you just like visually see Walter sitting there thinking. I don't really know if he's processing it or if he just like completely bounced it off his head and he's just like spinning like a pinwheel or something. But you still have that.
Yeah.
But I do know what you mean. Which is weird. Does it feel like you like lost like a part of yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, that has
really
to be
did.
what, like, whenever people like they're digging through their attic and stuff and they find like an old game, and they're like, oh, I used to really like that, and they have like a moment of their childhood
flashback.
Yeah.
Nostalgia just.
Maybe this is the turning point where that's starting to, you know.
I kind of think so. It's been great being home,
And it's really interesting that, for one, that we've been able to talk about it, and second, like that you've been conscious of it though, and like you're explaining everything that like you're feeling and thinking about it.
Yeah.
Rather than just like 10 years later, just being like, I don't know, just running past it and then.
Yeah.
Not really knowing what happened.
Yeah.
So that might be. It's gonna be interesting in the future whenever you think about it later on.
Yeah.
But
I've been told by my RAs that I should frame this letter somewhere, because it's obviously so important to me, and I probably overanalyzed it, but I do enjoy this Walter a lot. I think he's a good guy to talk to, and I enjoy his company. So, whether that's getting back to this as I thought, or if it's understanding that it's still there.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think it's that Walter is definitely still there. Just how like people have, um, like they remember things whenever they were a kid, and like that kid comes out. You know, like
Yeah.
that does happen. I guess maybe it's just more how frequent do you want that Walter to come out?
Right.
Like how I don't know how I don't know. Do you want to live as that Walter? Or maybe you're just gonna have to accept that that's not here anymore, you know?
Right.
But he is still there. But it's just not I don't know. There's a different Walter.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was not expecting it to go this deep.
I'm glad it did.
So am I.
Because I've been harboring this for a really long time.
And especially, I really like the fact that it's not just a conversation, though, that we'll think about. It's like, we could go back and listen to this.
Yeah. And it can be just
like documentation.
Just as important as what the letter was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And even if, like, the letter ended up in a fire or something, you have this to... the letter is now embezzled in here.
Embezzled?
Yeah.
What does embezzled mean, Logan?
The way that I used it was like embedded.
Yeah.
Embezzled.
That's the word. Well, before we end, thank you for thinking of the idea to do letters.
Yeah.
Having the idea to do letters.
Well, that was fully my mother.
Yeah, because... Well, thanks, Mrs. Woodworth, because this is probably episode 8, but
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think
Whatever
I think
episode
we'll
this is by now, when we split up this file.
Yeah.
It's been like weeks since this was proposed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Like a couple.
Like
I
2.
graduated the other day.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably 2 weeks.
So I've waited 2 weeks to do this, and I was kind of dreading it because I feel like I've brought it up too many times. But yeah, the freshman year was a huge part of me, whether I like it or not.
Which you have like the idea of that it's like a burden almost. I feel like.
Yeah.
But I think it was good to work through some of it.
Yeah.
I hope that makes you feel any better about it.
Yeah.
Rather than just thinking on it later and you feel crappy about it.
Yeah.
We've actually we've sifted through freshman year a bit.
If I had to have a unfortunate relationship experience so that I could so that when I do find my future wife, I don't fumble it, then of course that's how could I not want that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to struggle through a team dynamic I didn't like and understand why it is I left so that when I'm working for a company and their culture sucks, I can work through it, so be it.
It's all part of it.
Yeah.
But all right, well,
thank you for listening, guys.
Yeah, I was at the beginning of this, which is probably going to be like episode 6. I mentioned this is a not really a late night special, but it actually is kind of like
it has now become a late night special.
Yeah. It's actually pretty late at night. We've been talking for the longest that we have ever talked.
Yeah.
So we will probably split this one up.
Yep.
Into 2 or 3 episodes, and then. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.
You can find us at Inactive Listening on Spotify.
Yep.
Which is probably where you're listening to this right now. So that's cool. And should we drop the email for for feedback.
Absolutely.
So we have our company email now.
Oop, I'm sorry.
inactivelistening@gmail.com.
That's right.
Send us some feedback if you want. Any recommendations for maybe some episodes?
Send us some zip bombs.
Yeah, for Logan to open up and brick his computer. That'd be good. But yeah, thanks guys for listening.
Yeah.
And we'll
See you guys in the next one.
see you guys in the next one.